together. They ask why. Every hidden corner, every alibi. They risk it all, they take the fall. For the truth that will stand tall.
Hello everyone, I'm Tracy Derwin and I'm here with Shane Buell. In today's video, we'll be going over the Patagonia fires, just the fire behavior and the devastation. And then we'll do a separate one with more of a deep dive into the geopolitical aspect of this. It's just kind of something we're going to have to do. I'll give a little background on what Patagonia is. It includes two countries, Argentina and Chile. So we'll be talking about the two countries because the fires, go over both these countries. Just a little background. The reason we have a Patagonia is Magellan in 1520, to him discovered this area and encountered giants. So these really big people. And so Patagons means big feet or big footed ones. And that is still the term that we use to cover the southern end of South America. And then Shane, do you want me to start here or should I show some of the footage?
I think it's good that we can show the maps and then jump into the footage. So
Okay.
this is the two clusters of fires that happened in Argentina. They actually happened about a week or so before the fires in Chile. And then these are the clusters of fires in Chile. You can see near the top center of the screen, there was, I think, maybe 30 fires in Chile alone. And the most intense of them was near a town called Concepcion. This particular burn scar is over 20 miles long, and it impacted the towns, the coastal towns of Penco, Lirken, and Punta de Para. And out of those three towns, 90+% of the structures were destroyed. All right, and this.
Oh, sorry.
This is what a normal forest fire would look like. I would say this is typical of combustive flames. This could be, the signs, of arson. This is what a normal fire would look like.
Okay.
And then this just shows some of the fire behavior. Nothing weird there that I could tell.
All right, I'm going to show a couple videos that kind of coincide with that. And this is the road that it jumped, right?
Yeah, this is one of the roads that it jumped. If you know what to look for, you can see it. But if not, I'm not going to mention it.
Okay, and then here is
this is Punta de Para. Yeah, this is one of the towns that 90% of the structures were destroyed.
All right, and then I'll do a little of the cars, just the images, and then we'll show them in action and what they look like while they were burning. So here's one car.
Yeah, that one's in Argentina. This one is also in Argentina. Same here, also Argentina.
Right, so we're picking ones that should be looking familiar to you guys if you've been seeing our previous fire content.
And then this was in Chile, and I do actually have a video of that. Here it is. Okay, yeah, so this is a video of the cars in Chile. You can see that at this point, only the interiors are still on fire. There may have been some flammable materials in the exterior, but not as much compared to the interior. So I think that's why we see only the interior at this point burning. However, on each side of the road was only grass.
Yeah, it's interesting that this is the only part that was caught. That was the only footage that we got.
Yeah, and here you can see the flames were still burning, and it's actually still smoking. So this is probably the first 24 hours after the fire, and you can see how much damage has already been done. and the state of the cars at this point, like just how rusted out they are after 24 hours.
Do you know if they got a notice, evacuation notices? I didn't hear
There
anything.
were, yes, there were evacuation notices. Over 50,000 people were evacuated in Chile.
Okay, so that's why we see the backup, those cars all backed up, right?
Probably there was, yeah, I bet there was an active evacuation ongoing at the time.
Yeah, and the roads look really narrow. There are not that many lanes, you know.
And here you see a bunch of cars flipped over, and I don't think those were flipped by people trying to move them out of the way. And then you can see some of the melting aluminum in the street there. And again, only grass on each side.
Okay.
And then this looked unusual to me because this one lick of flame is much taller than the rest of them. This is an arboreal type forest of, evergreen pine trees. And it's so weird that it's burning so high in one spot. And this is what's left of a tree stump. It looks like the inside of it has burned out. And then here's some barrels that have burned out completely, although the red one was completely untouched. I know why, but I can't say. And then here is the wind is blowing away from the camera, like up the hill, where the fire is uphill and the wind is blowing towards the fire. However, it looks like there's some hot spots advancing down the hill. And I would argue that that's probably not from embers. And then here is one of the structures I found in Argentina, which was destroyed. And what's unusual to me is that the trees near the structure are intact. They look dried out, but they're not burned. And then this is just one of the other structures I found in Argentina.
And we'll link the video we did with Robert, one of my most viewed videos, where you guys go into more detail on the explanation for this type of fire behavior.
All right. And then this shows like some of the widespread damage. There's a little bit of, if you wanted to play Where's Waldo here and look for some cool things, then you could, but I'm not going to point them out. And then this is just another image that shows just how widespread and total the damage was. Same with this one. So yeah, and you can see some trees.
Okay, and then I'll play, this is the beginning, the first few hours, right, from when they started.
Yeah, this is a satellite image.
Start in different places.
Yeah, this is the first few hours of the fires, and you can see how they pop up in several different places. And I find it unlikely that one person could have done all of those.
Okay, and then the next one's going to be of the satellite image of the gravity waves. And it's also going to show the smoke.
Yeah, gravity waves are normally caused by contours over like mountainous areas. However, we see it over the ocean where it's completely flat.
And is it weird that they're going, like the clouds are going one way and the fire smoke's going the other?
I wouldn't say it's extremely weird. What that is surface winds being different than the winds aloft. That is normally called like a wind shear type of situation. I wouldn't say that's extremely unusual.
Okay, so that happens.
It's somewhat normal to have surface winds not matching the winds aloft.
Got it. Okay, and then we have a lot more. I know some of you are probably thinking that there's more to this event, but we're gonna have to separate that into our follow-up video. So be looking out for that. We're gonna film it right after this, and then we'll be, discussing things like this and going into more detail, the geopolitical aspects of this event. So I hope you guys understand the adjustments that are we're kind of forced to make at this point. So that's going to do it for now, and just be looking out for the follow-up. We'll get it up as soon as possible. I don't mean to like tease you guys and then have a big a break, but we'll try to get it up as soon as possible. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
They piece it together. They ask why every hidden